Hello, string players. If you've ever been in a musical situation with horn players where somebody calls a song that is commonly in a flat key and they want to do it in some totally unrelated, probably not flat key, you've seen this range of emotions come across those horn players depending on how many little jingle jangles they got all over their instrument and all the different difficult ways they're going to have to move their mouth to try to make up for those changes in the key. And it can become a very dangerous situation. So I believe it's our duty as string players to be able to move around this two-dimensional Merkaba called the circle of fifths, so that any parallax on this indra's net of resonance algorithms is completely as easy to play in as any other key you might want to do something in. And that way, it won't have to fall upon the horn players to be doing the dirty work. And actually, I find it really easy for string players to play in any key. And so that's great for if the singer wants a different key, or the horn players, or any reason something's written in that key. You can just change to anywhere you want to play it using this finger. So pull that finger. Alright, so this finger can become the tonic of any scale you want to play. And have you ever noticed that fiddle players kind of have resting fiddle fingers that kind of fall like this with the middle fingers touching each other? That's because the right hand is falling like that on the bow for the bow grip, and the left hand, when they first started learning scales, they usually started on an open string like the G or the D or the A, and then their scale fell in that pattern. D, A. But if you start with your first finger, you're now in what is called closed position. In a closed position shape, you can move anywhere up and down the neck and be able to play in any key you want. That's true of almost any string instrument, and that's why it's our responsibility to be able to move around like that. So if naturally you're just in first position, you start on the G string, you could play A scale with this shape. It's a lot like this one, but you just have these two touching instead. A major scale. Or you start on the D string, E major scale. And all you have to do to make those into a flat scale is move it back half step. So here's where your A scale would fall, move it back a half step. Now you have an A flat scale. Or if you wanted this E scale to become an E flat major scale, move it back a half step. And just start on whatever you want, whatever note you want, and play that easy pattern. And you can start it on even the low second note. You want to play an F, start on that F up here. You got all your scales available. And if you wanted to start something on a fourth finger, the rest of your scale is going to be like those resting fiddle hands. So that comes in handy if you have to play in D flat, which is maybe considered the hardest key, either that or the G flat. And all you have to do is, for the D flat, start on the D, and then the rest of your notes are going to be resting fiddle hands. And so it's really easy to just move around these patterns and play any scale you want. It's a lot of fun. And one of my favorite things about playing in the flat keys, especially when you get into deep flat territory like with the minor flat scales, is remember those white notes on the piano that don't have any black keys in between them, the E and the F, and the B and the C. So this is where the weird, uncommon names for notes gets to finally come to surface. So you would almost never say something like C flat to refer to a B or F flat to refer to an E unless you're in something like D flat minor. And you have, if you had a D flat major triad, you'd have D flat, F, and A flat. But if you wanted to make it D flat minor triad, you'd have to make it D flat, F flat, and A flat. You couldn't call that an E anymore, but you can play your open E string when you're in that key, and it's a lot of fun to think, I'm playing open strings in D flat minor scale. And so that, I really get a kick out of that. So you can just take any song you know and just move your hand around to be in the same shapes on your hand, but just a totally different scale. So say you're playing Cherokee Shuffle in A major, but you wanted to do it in A flat instead. You just move back a half step. And so you can just practice around with that a lot and realize how easy it is to just move over your hand position and you're in another key and you don't even have to think about it. You just have to get used to those shapes. And you never have to move your face any other way or see anybody looking like that around you. And so I find fiddle playing fun and easy, and so is playing in flat keys. So good luck out there, and thanks for listening.